Welcome to an introduction to the compute or extra performance computing options available to researchers and students at Aalborg University. Before we get into what these compute options are, we'd like to just point out what you should expect from the systems that are available. These compute systems are fantastic, and we encourage all of our users to experiment and try all of the options that are available on these systems, especially with regard to trying to optimize and improve their research. But we have some very strong warnings for anyone who wants to use them. These services are not intended to be available permanently or all the time. There's also not 24/7 support. Support is offered during work hours between 9 and 4 in the afternoon on weekdays and up to 3 on a Friday. And if you are intending to run services that do need 24/7 uptime, like a monitoring system that captures data from some kind of device or something out in the field, you need to use an alternative service that is available 24/7. There are 4 service windows per year, plus upgrade windows for the services that are hosted locally. So anyone who is going to be using any of these services needs to know that there will be planned and unplanned breaks in the services available, but we try to minimize the downtime as far as possible. These services are not intended for long-term storage. The idea is that you get your data in, you run your processing, and you take your data out again. We have another option called data deposit that allows you to archive your data if you have data that is finished being used or you have it in a complete format. That data deposit allows you to store your code and your data and everything related to a project as one data set. There are also no backups on any of these systems. While there are security copies, which means that if there's a hardware failure, the data won't be lost. The caveat with that is that any action taken by a user is permanent. There is no undo button for deleting things. So if you are going to use these services, you need to build in those backup or at least the preventative or protective measures that you want. With that, let's get into what the landscape actually looks like in terms of what's available to students and researchers at Aalborg University. Starting with the local options on the left, we have AI Lab, which is a service that is currently in development and expected to launch by September 2024. It's a dedicated environment for students and teachers and will feature 88 NVIDIA L4 GPUs. The pilot phase starts in June, and hopefully that will help finalize the deployment in September. AI Cloud is our existing GPU cluster, which currently offers access to both students and teachers, and primarily to researchers, and it features GPUs ranging from T4s to A100s. There are different priority levels for different users depending on where they come from, and the system uses a Slurm queue for job scheduling, which means it's intended for batch processing rather than direct hardware interaction or interactive testing. So please limit the interactive work you do on that platform to a bare minimum. Strato is the next one to discuss. Strato provides access to virtual machines that are hosted on the OpenStack platform. For users, this just means that they get a bare bones Linux server, and it allows you to set up your server with the packages that you want and need, such as Jupyter Notebooks, Python, or CUDA, depending on the underlying hardware. Strato allows you also to retain your boot disk, build network interfaces, and a variety of other higher level computation options that some of the other environments don't offer. If we move over to the uCloud environment or the uCloud platform, you can see that there's an overlap with virtual machines from the Strato environment. Let's start with the virtual machines. They are hosted at Aalborg University, also on the OpenStack platform, but the difference with these virtual machines is that the boot disk is not retained. So when you spin up a virtual machine via uCloud, you need to use it and get your data in and out during the use time that you have for that virtual machine. Switching over to the next part, inside the bottom right-hand side of the screen that you're looking at, you can see that that is separated into 2 components, AAU and SDU. The AAU component and the SDU component have identical capabilities in terms of being able to run the pre-built apps on uCloud, and that's what they're intended for. The main difference is that at present, The SDU component is the only part that is permitted for running anything to do with sensitive data, and that is because the SDU storage is ISO 27001 certified for managing and holding and storing sensitive data. The compute options are slightly different on those two options, but both have CPU options for those who just want to run CPU calculations, whereas the L4 and L40 and A10 GPUs are only available at Aalborg University, and at SDU you can get access to CPU and an NVIDIA H100 GPU card. They're each priced separately, but nowadays everything on the platform is priced in terms of CPU hours or GPU hours. You don't have to do any conversions. Easily access the uCloud platform by searching for uCloud and SDU on Google, and then clicking the green Wave button, which uses your Aalborg University credentials to log you into the platform. Have a look at the apps that are available and see if you can find something that you can use for your research. You can find more information about these services by navigating to researcher.au.dk. Navigate to using the drop-down menus at the top of the screen to Guides, Research Data and Software, and High Performance Computing. From there, to get access, the access point is the easiest, in which case you can scroll down to the quick links to application forms, where you can get a link to the application form for a uCloud project, Strato project, or AI Cloud generally. Each of these pages, AI Cloud, Strato, and in the case of uCloud, like HPC, have got a link at the bottom where you can both access the documentation or get access to the project. In the case of AI, or in the case of Strato, for example, if you click on the standard information bar, you'll find a link to the Strato homepage. All users have automatic access, if they just log in using their Wave credentials, to a basic balance of 20 virtual CPUs on Strato. AI Cloud is the only platform that does not have automatic access, and if you would like access as a researcher, you simply click Request Access to the AI Cloud platform link, and it'll take you to an access form, which is relatively quick and simple to fill out. Students can get access if their supervisors fill this form out on their behalf. You can find out more information about all of these services in greater and lesser detail in the researcher.au.dk website under Research Data and Services and High Performance Computing. If you would like more information about our team, you can find that on the researcher.au.dk website. Under the contact section, you can find Claudia. Otherwise, if you need our services, please submit a ticket to the new service portal. And if you'd like to follow us, have a look at our LinkedIn profile.